Travis Wayne Goodsell. While working on file sorting, yay, my life is great, it was brought to my attention that there was a new star in the heavens back on the 18th. That was the 666 day for the moon, third quarter moon, on the back of the white horse with Saturn causing war, as Venus was in Aries, and total chaos and pandemonium ensues. Yeah, it was 3 days before the inverted triangle in Aries. Hilarious. And so the significance of this is prophetic. We'll combine this with the Book of Mormon. Has the talk of the shepherd defends the sheep against the wolves. And it's understood that the shepherd is the Jewish Christ and the wolves are the false prophets of Christianity. Who wrote it? Jewish religion. Who is the enemy of the Jews? Christianity. They stole the Jewish scriptures, turned them into literal histories, and now they blame the Jews for murdering their Christ, who is not their Christ anymore, but now Jesus of Christianity. Nothing more hateful. Nothing more hateful. Joseph Smith said it's all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. Verse 19. Not a single missionary will dare read that to a new investigator from Christianity. Will not dare. You have no honor and integrity to tell other people the truth. Your religion is all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. Oh yeah? Well, you worship the inverted pentagram of Lucifer on the doors of the keystone, or the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. No, we don't. It's a symbol of Jesus and the second coming. Yep, Mormons defend Mormonism as Christians defend Christianity. They're the same. And after talking with Mormon discussions, ex-foes defend ex-foe Mormonism, just as they did when they were Mormons defending Mormonism. These are the consequences of not having logical Socratic methodology taught in our public school system. As Christians are now trying to make it worse by enforcing the Jewish Christianized Bible to be replacing all science. So yeah, signs in the heavens are astronomy. The sign in the heavens of the new star, or the nova explosion, was the constellation Lupus, but right there by Centaurus. Centaurus, and so Lupus is the wolf, Centaurus, the bison man or bull man. And so the thumbnail picture that I show is the closest location that my Stellarium Urim and Thummim had available, because we didn't know about it yet. Somebody found it on the 18th. And so Centaurus goes back to the Babylonians. And he is compared to the sun god, Utu Shamash. You would know him better as Samson, the Sun King. From very early times. And then the Greeks came along, and then they referred to him as the Exodus. It was mentioned by Exodus in the 4th century BCE and Aratus in the 3rd century BCE. In the 2nd century AD, Claudius Ptolemy cataloged 37 stars in Centaurus, including Alpha Centauri. It's the Greeks that gave it the name, obviously, because of the os, masculine singular. So, fun. Yeah, he's battling lupus. It's a deadly disease. Afflicts many. Is that the one where ticks? No. No. I think the tick one is something else. Lyme disease. Yeah. Lupus is something else. And so, yeah, their scientists, or the person who put this in here, is boasting about his astronomical knowledge, saying that back in the Babylonian time, it was further north on our horizon, and then in 7,000 years from now, it'll be maximum visibility for those in the northern hemisphere. Because that's how the Earth wobbles. So, yeah, fun. And I did a video on that day, the 666 video. So we need scriptures up. Oh my God. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great sign in heaven in the likeness of things on the earth. Sign in heaven is a date. That's how I'm able to tell you. The sign in the heaven happened on the 18th of June. 5 days ago. Real simple. Not complicated. Likeness of things on the earth. That is interesting. That's what's called prophecy, boys and girls. Predicting the future with a date of when the future prediction is going to come to pass. And so lots of false wolves in sheep's clothing prophets have said that Jesus is coming in a coming day. And that day came, and oh no, Jesus didn't show. Right, Nelson? That's why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't dare make prophecies, let alone dates for when those prophecies are to occur. They won't do it. They even have an official statement saying we aren't going to do it. We are not prophets, we are not revelators, therefore we are not seers, and hell no with translation. So what do you do? All you have are titles? You deny the gifts thereof, huh? Interesting. Why are Mormons still Mormon? That's the big question, Mormons. Why? Why? So, the Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith gives the introduction. The Book of Mormon, an account written by the hand of Mormon upon plates taken from the plates of Nephi. Wherefore, it is an abridgment of the record of the people of Nephi, and also of the Lamanites, written to the Lamanites, who are a remnant of the house of Israel, and also to Jew and Gentile, written by way of commandment, and also by the spirit of prophecy and revelation. Uh-oh. How many Mormons believe the Book of Mormon is literal history? All wrong, abominable, and corrupt. You lose. Come back next millennial resurrection. You ain't going to Zion. All you had to do is read. All you had to do is read. Joseph Smith himself put the introduction in and said, the Book of Mormon is not literal history. It is predictions of the future with the day and the hour of the future predictions. Do you not believe Joseph Smith? He is the founder. Unless you deny him, then you can't use him as your founder. In order to have Joseph Smith as your founder, you have to believe him when he says he's a seer, he's a prophet, he's a revelator, he's a translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian. Because if you say Joseph Smith is true and you don't believe that he's a seer, prophet, revelator, and translator with the keys of the man like Moses, the Jewish Christ, and you claim that he's a Christian, which Joseph Smith himself said is all wrong, abominable, and corrupt, what does that make you? Very, very evil. So, there's a lot of Mormon myths. We'll stick to the Book of Mormon myths. We don't have that much time. We're already 12 minutes in. I've got plenty of hours to go. Already offended Mormons who want Joseph Smith to be true as Christian. He saw Jesus! And so you're going to find out the hard way that Jesus ain't going to show after he burns you with his nuclear glory. I see the light of Jesus, it burns! There's an awesome scene in The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp where the one Satanist who believes he knew better than they all thought he would interpret the tarot cards from the book as meaning he should light himself on fire. Johnny Depp is just stuck between the two floors, looking on in horror as this guy has a complete nutcase, dousing himself with gasoline, and then lighting himself on fire. Satan will save me. I will not be harmed. Hilarious. Then we find out he had the wrong tarot card. Oops. Anyway. Emmanuel Singer. Yeah, we don't need the scriptures anymore. I mean, we could go to the scriptures where they talk about it, but again, right there. So if Joseph Smith refers to the Lamanites, yes, he means the American Indians, North and South America, but it's code in the Book of Mormon. It's not to be taken literal history. So any DNA analysis, yeah, automatically wrong. No, duh, they came from China. No, there was a study done by a Mormon. And he proved. No, he didn't. He lied. There is no ancestry unless you go way back to the ancient Egyptians of those in America, North and South. Actual DNA will show this for you as you go on the paternal and maternal lines all the way back. So it would be interesting to see somebody who is Native American, either North or South American, have their DNA of their paternal and maternal lines. They can't do 23andMe anymore. I have to find somebody else. Ancestry won't do it. But yeah, that would be interesting to see their migration chart from 300,000 BCE. So it'd be very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, none of that is true. Why are you running that kind of a test? Exfo never mows. All you had to do was point out to a Mormon, it's written as a prediction of the future and the dates for those predictions of the futures. And then you shut up the Mormon right then and there. They go cry and curl up in a ball. The church is true, the church is true, the church is true. And hilarity ensues, destroying their little faith bubbles. Real simple. So yeah, you don't need to worry about cows, as hilarious as that is. No archaeological work needs to be done anymore for the Book of Mormon. This is why the church will never produce the published account of where the geology is of the Book of Mormon. Because it doesn't exist unless you say that it's the exact same as Solomon Spaulding. Then you're right on. There's a reason why they used his book. It was because he died, and they thought nobody knew of the book, and they needed some template for the framework of the Book of Mormon. There you go. I've done those videos. And so there are no Nephites, no Lamanites. Doing archaeological history, you won't find it. On all of the Mayan, Aztec, Incan, Ptolemaic, none of the writing will ever show Nephites or Lamanites. Never. Yes, you got stories of brothers and stuff like that. No. So did the Egyptians. That's where it all comes from. And so, yeah, there's a Mormon who dominates the Mayan Aztec glyph interpretation, as nobody else really wanted to do it. Child Faith was the one who wanted me to decipher it for him, the Tree of Life. But the Tree of Life is called the Tree of Life because of the Mormon. But nonetheless, instead of teaching Child Faith how to translate, and definitely not giving him the answers, I gave him the grammar and vocabulary so that he can learn for himself if he wants the answers. Mom, I just wanted the definition. I don't want to look it up in the dictionary. Just give me the answer. No, you need to learn how to get it for yourself. And so, yeah, the big bombshell Mormons, every single Mormon who goes out, gives the golden question, do you know about the Book of Mormon? Do you know about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Yeah, give them a Book of Mormon, and then you go over it with them. You take them first to 3rd Nephi chapter 11. Jesus comes to the Americans Oh, and if you're south of the border, you tell them your ancestors were there seeing Jesus. And then they want to work for the church with the publication of the Book of Mormon video series. Oh, this is so great. I get to be one of my ancestors in this movie. No. No. Never happened. I know, Quetzalcoatl. No. Prophecy. Revelation. Yes, even them. Because they got it from the Egyptians, and the Jews got it from the Egyptians, and that's what they are. They're all prophecies and revelations. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop with the Christianizing. Just throw it all out of your brain. Reboot the system. And so no Jesus. And so that's why you then take them to Moroni chapter 10, verses 3 through 5, to see if they're really that stupid like you. And manifest the truth. So that you then have them believe, oh, a spiritual witness feeling. I just pray, so I really don't need to read and ponder. I just need to pray, and if I get the right feeling, then the Book of Mormon is true as literal history as the missionaries told me to believe it is. Huh. Well, that's easy. I thought I had to study the Book of Mormon. In order to comprehend it. Oh my God. And so, yes, among the biggest scandals of Mormon myths are the sightings of the three Nephites. It's all true. It's all true. My third great uncles, nephews, cousins, dogs, sisters, aunts, mothers. They saw him. It's all true. I saved them from the burning. As they thought that they could be like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. Yeah. Real simple. Once you know the truth from simply reading, you now understand. Because guess who Gentiles are? Christians. And so yes, he's using this to talk about the modern day people in 1830. You have people living on the American continent. You have them who have the devolved traditions of the Egyptians about the coming of their Christ. And so you get to tell them about it. The Jews, hey guys, you were deceived by Christianity. The actual Jewish Christ that you believe in, that's in the scriptures of yours, he's coming to America. And guess what, Christians? You're the evil ones who botched it all from the beginning 1,700 years ago this summer. Next month into August. Still not hearing anything about the Pope. He's still trying to tell the Jews and Islam how to run their religions. As soon as he gets a little authority, as he supposes, and it is very little, he's only a bishop, the head bishop. See, Nelson, he's only the head mission president. That's as far as he goes. That's it. And you know how lowly that is. That's down in the 70s level. It was Brigham Young who exalted him and his 12 into a higher position than they deserve, and he did away with the High Council, which is the actual administration. has Stanford listed those of the High Council in his email that he had to send the rest of the email, so see what else was said. Yep. So cut it out, Mormons. Cut it out. Because all the scripture prophecies and the revelations have all happened. We're just waiting for the final four. Trump has already started Armageddon. We're well underway now for Trump's interpretation of Christianity. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has not yet had any of theirs happen yet, the final four. But they're behind making Trump happen. So, yeah, being well underway for Trump means well underway for the church. We're just waiting. The fall, transfer of authority, Exodus, and then Zion. And so for the church, as I've gone over with you, they're waiting for the United States of America to fall, thus transferring government authority to the individual states. Cox bows the knee to Nelson, or Oaks, if Nelson's not a zombie from the apocalypse resurrected. And then the church takes control of the state of Utah. And then you have an exodus called deportation, where Trump's already doing that, but Cox, unaware of his responsibilities as governor and why the church wanted him in and not Lyman, is throwing a wrench into that. It's going to make it harder to deport all of the apostate, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ Korahors that are still in Utah and need to be deported. The church wanted Trump to do it, and Cox got in the way. You're a sanctuary state for a reason, Cox. You're not supposed to defend the sanctuary state. You're supposed to throw them under the bus. Say, bye, you are illegal. You are DEI, you are black. You're not paying attention to Trump. Need clarification, oh my hell. What a loser. And so yes, tithing, section 119, forged document of Brigham Young in 1844. Because you can't read, can you guys? Violates all scripture. And there it says, you will be deported from Zion if you do not pay and are obedient to polygamy and other death penalty oaths and covenant paths. You're out, if not dead. There's more than one way to deport somebody. And the church is going to do it. So yeah, that's why Utah allowed DEIs to change their birth certificates, to change their driver's licenses. You're now on a blacklist that the church has all set ready to deport you with. You know, if you want to cry and say, no, I want to be a part of the church, I'm just addicted to DEI. All right, well, we'll send you down to the BYU where we've resurrected conversion therapy. Sure you want that, huh? Sure you want that. And I've been telling you the reason why we have blacks in the priesthood now, getting married in the temple, is only because the church made a deal with Congress in 1978. Congress said, well, you got to allow blacks into the church. The church said, fine. What's it called? Reverse, not decertify. Stop the Edmunds-Tucker Act. Null and void that. So the church had to come out and say, fine. And they did it in October. And claiming that it was during the summertime. That was when they were making the deal with Congress. And so, yeah, they came out Eldon Tanner got up. I was on my mom's lap at the general conference, 8 years old, and I hear this murmuring in the audience in the middle of this old man's talking. And I poke my head up. What's going on? Dear God. So yeah, it was wild and crazy. As then November, I think, was when the United States Congress then nullified the Edmunds-Tucker Act. So polygamy can be restored, which Nelson did in 2019. They tricked Congress, just like they tried to do with the Reed Smoot hearings and other such debacles. Alrighty, we're done. Why are you a Mormon, Mormons? Scriptures are being fulfilled. This should be the time where Mormons get to, declare it to the world. The church is true. Prophecies are being fulfilled, just as Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon said, and yet Mormons have been humiliated as they are waiting for Jesus to show, when even Christians acknowledge that Trump works, or Jesus works through Trump to make his will happen. Not for Mormons. Has to be literal. Screw the Jews!